Your business didn't plateau because you lost ambition, and it's not because you're doing something wrong. If anything, you've gotten sharper, more experienced, more efficient. So why does it feel like everything's running but nothing's really moving? You're not coasting, you're still grinding, but growth has stalled, and no one's telling you why. That's what we're gonna unpack, because once you understand what is actually causing the plateau, you'll know exactly how to get moving again. I'm Trisha Shortino, CEO of BELAY, and I've worked with thousands of business owners at every stage of growth, and the ones who hit the ceiling, they're never the slackers. They're the glue, they're the engine, they're the reason the business got this far. But here's the problem. The same habits that got you here are the ones that keep you stuck. If you're overwhelmed but underwhelmed by your results, this is for you. Let me show you what's behind the plateau and how to grow again without burning out or blowing things up. Here's 4 reasons you've stalled and how to get moving again. Number 1, you've mastered control but outgrown it. In the early stages of business, control was essential. You were the one with the vision, the one with the know-how. You were customer service and quality control, but at a certain point in the company's growth, control stops being a strength and it starts to become a constraint. You've mastered how to hold things together, but growth, that requires letting go of some of it on purpose. If every decision still runs through you, if every crisis ends up on your desk, if your team can't move without a check-in from you, you're not leading your air traffic control. No wonder you feel stuck. The fix? Start where your absence would matter most. Not the noisiest part of your business, the most dependent. Start with one function: operations, scheduling, client delivery, marketing. Then ask yourself, if I stepped away from this for 2 weeks, what would stall? That is your bottleneck. Not because the team is failing, not because your core business is broken, but because that system was built around you being the default solution. And warning, the longer you've been the bottleneck, the more patience you're gonna need to undo it. But once you identify the bottleneck and ask, is this a task I can teach? Is this a process I need to document? Is there someone I can delegate this to right now? Or is this a role I need to hire? Don't wait for a crisis. Look for the places that only move when you do. That's your first opportunity to rebuild for scale, not survival. 2, you're still solving problems from 2 years ago. Plateaus often look like busyness without progress. That's because you're stuck solving old problems, one you should have replaced with systems by now. If your week is full of back and forth scheduling, customer file drills, and endless follow-ups or approvals, that's not leadership, that's systematic error. If you want next level growth, your time has to be spent on next level problems. The fix? Audit your calendar for patterns, not appointments. Look back 6 to 12 months. Mark anything that feels like deja vu. Same meeting, same problem, same task that keeps coming back with your name on it. Those aren't just recurring events, they're signals. Signals that something hasn't been solved, delegated, or systematized. And then ask yourself, why is this still mine? Is this work I should keep or work I should have let go of? What would it take to get it off my calendar permanently? If it's been on your plate for over a year, you've already paid for it with your time. Either close the loop or create a system and hand it off, because the cost of delay isn't just time, it's attention, and nothing slows growth like decisions that never get resolved. Number 3, you've delegated tasks, but not thinking. You've hired people, that's great, but if you're still fielding all the quick questions every hour, you didn't delegate, you distributed errands. Real delegation means you hand off not just the execution, but the ownership. You've trained your team to rely on you because you've always had the answer. And the fix is to shift from do this to own this. About 10 years ago, I was asked to lead our sales team, but finding the time and the bandwidth to do so was a challenge. I had boxed in all of my time with an overpacked work week. I was so entrenched in the current departments I led, I could not even find the time to lead one more. But if I wanted to grow and lead more, I needed to figure out how to let leaders lead. So I decided it was time to truly delegate an entire department to a very capable leader. The tasks have been handled by her, but I was still holding on to owning the results. And it was time for me to let go and let her truly lead outside of my oversight and wishes. Her way, it wasn't my way, but she did it. And I was nervous. When she changed things, I'd bite my lip. But you know what happens when you let go and let them do it their way? Sometimes it's better. A lot of leaders think they're delegating when they're really just offloading. They assign tasks, but they keep all the thinking. They hand over work but hold on to the outcome. And it feels like delegation, but it's still control. If your team can't move something forward without circling back to you, you haven't delegated, you've just redistributed effort. Ownership means they're responsible for the entire thing, start to finish. It means you stop giving play-by-play and start trusting someone else to call all the shots. Not because they'll do it perfectly, but because they won't grow if you don't let go. And neither will the business. So the shift isn't just tactical, it's relational. Do this says, I need your hands. Own this says, I trust your mind. That's the difference between having help and building a team. 4, you haven't replaced yourself yet. The hardest part of scaling isn't learning new things, it's letting go of what you already mastered. And every stage of growth forces you to replace yourself. At 100,000, I had to stop doing the work. At 5 million, I got out of the day-to-day thinking. At 10 million, I stepped out of management. And somewhere between 10 million and 100 million, I had to stop being the brain and start leading like an investor. Not just building systems, building people who build systems. Most leaders stall somewhere in that arc, not from burnout, but because they're still too central, still too necessary. And the fix lists the decisions, the meetings, or tasks that still require you. Pick one, just one, and replace yourself with a person or a process or a boundary. It won't feel like growth in the moment, it'll feel like risk, but you're gonna do it anyway. That's how you scale and stay sane. And I know because I've done it. If you've plateaued, the fix isn't more hustle, it's better structure. And it starts with what you let go of first. That's why I created Delegate to Elevate, our free guide that shows you exactly how to offload the right work to the right people the right way. We've used it with thousands of leaders to break through the bottlenecks without burnout or scaling chaos. Download Delegate to Elevate using the link in the description. It's free, it's actionable, and it's the unlock you've been circling for months. If this helps you, subscribe for more. I'm here to help you build a business that works without working you to death.